Good evening, traders, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at Carnival Corporation, ticker symbol CCL, and I want to show you what I'm seeing. I was doing a search for small caps, and this one came across my scan, and I instantly saw this pattern, bullish Adam and Eve pattern, clear as day. It has taken about 4 years to form, so that's why we're starting in the weekly time frame. So you could see how we had this bullish move up to about $72, $74, and then we had just this absolute bearish descent all the way down from March 2018 all the way down to a low of about $6. So from there, from 2020, we've been forming this what's called an Adam and Eve pattern. It's a bullish pattern. You could see it clear as day. We have the V right here for the Adam, and then we have the rounded bottom for the Eve. So let me draw that in for you guys and show you what that looks like. So we have this here, and then we have the Eve side like so, right? And then this comes down just like that. And you can see clear as day replicates this exact pattern. And the interesting thing about it is, fortunately for all of us, it's right at the neckline, right? It's right at the breakout point. So this week, believe it or not, we might actually be breaking out of this pattern, which is absolutely massive, right? So let me zoom in a little bit more and show you that. So you could draw your neckline from a couple different places, and that's what's subjective, right? So I'm going to draw it because I like drawing my trend lines based on multiple interactions at various points in history. Always look left and see what type of confluence and alignment you can get from the pivot tops and pivot lows. So clearly, you can really even take this back to here if you wanted to. Check this out. All the way through, there's just all this price action through this demand zone here, and then back into this demand zone, and you could see on the weekly chart, you just have all this interaction with this line here. So we're going to draw it here, but again, trend lines are subjective, right? You can draw them where you like, and you can move them around, and it can craft your own narrative. But like I said, I like to draw it at the point at which it has multiple interactions, so you have those interactions represent price and throughout time. So the more touch points are the better, in my opinion, and based on my experience and based on my charting. So that's what we're going to do here, and that's going to give us a line at about $20.35. Now you can see we had overthrows, and this is always good to see. You have your overthrows here, and then we have our rejections, and here we are. We made what's called a kiss on that line here, but we didn't close above it. So depending on how the market closes tomorrow, we'll see if this closes definitively above. Now, the one thing I will bring your attention to, one, it's a shortened week. Two, we have lesser volume than the previous week. So that's not what you want to see in a breakout candle. So even if this closed above, I would be skeptical, and I would want to see a following week with massive volume and a candle that closes. You always want to close above your previous pivot top high, regardless of where you draw that neckline, right? So for me, I'm going to want to see, to really truly take this pattern seriously, you're going to want to see a close above here with confirmation, and then a close above here with confirmation, which, as you can see, is only about $2 difference. So it's not a big deal there at all. So I would be, well, here's a couple things, right? You have 4 years of price history forming this pattern. So could you be ambitious, and could you take this entry here? Of course. Do I plan to? Yes. But if you're the more conservative type, then you're going to want to see a breakout and a retest, right? You're going to want to see something that ultimately looks like this, right? You see the problem here is if you get a breakout on this, you're probably going to go to 40, because look at where this other you just have this massive air gap. So you'd probably do something like this, and then that right there, my friends, would be an amazing buy opportunity, right? If you, and again, let me move this over. This isn't obviously the scale in terms of when it would happen, but you would get a breakout like this. It'd probably go to 40. Why do I say that? Because you have this low here, and then you also have this gap fill right there. So it would be somewhere in this range likely, because you have this big air pocket here. We could look at it on the daily. It might change it slightly. Let's see. Nah, not really. It doesn't. So let's go back to the weekly, since that's where we're at. Excuse me, hiccups. Yeah, so that you probably likely get to there. Gap window. Let's call it gap window is going to be right here. Maybe a kiss of there. Anyways, it'll be somewhere in this range. You'll likely sell off. You'll reject. You'll come back. You'll retest. And that is the point at which and spot you guys, I mean, that's the point to buy, right? That is going to be the spot right here. So I'm going to mark that, leave that on the chart. Like I said, I'm personally going to, after seeing this, I'll be taking a small position, probably 1%, maybe 0.5% of portfolio. I'll be going in here just because this is 4 years of setup time. It's not like we're looking at an hourly chart or a 4-hour chart. We're looking at the weekly chart on a major corporation that has taken 4 years to mature. So if there's any question if this is a bullish activity pattern, I'd rule that out, personally. So it's pretty clear as day. And if you look at relative to its competition, just look at what RCL has done. This is Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, and it has absolutely launched into Valhalla. It's way up there in the heavens above. So you can see it even broke this line here and absolutely just is off to the races. And we're going to get a confirming candle this week that's likely going to take this higher. So you have that going for you, right? So let's go back to CCL. I mean, everything's setting up and pointing to a massive move forward. Let's see if I got anything else. Let's look at RSI. RSI is getting oversold, but isn't yet. So it definitely has some room to run. So it's hard not to like this one, guys. I like it. I'll be taking it. And as I always say in my videos, no financial advice will be given. This is strictly for educational purposes and just showing you things that I'm doing, how I'm seeing the charts, and just my TA on the various tickers. So all I ask in return for these amazing videos that continue to, if you're taking them, I know you're making money because I am, and yeah, you're stacking those ducats in the bank account. So if you want to keep doing that, I want to keep bringing it to you. All I ask is for a like on the video. Comment is great. Share it with your friends. All that interaction obviously helps with the algorithms and helps me to justify my time and to keep doing this for you guys, bringing you absolute bangers one after the next, making us money hand over fist. So until the next one, guys, I'll catch you then. Thanks. Bye.